Okay, let's move some stuff here. My name is David Lorenz. I want to talk about the Big Barn Race 2018, Chilliwack. I wanted to make a video of every WORS series I went to this year because for me it's a way to see the progression of myself and get a recap on something that I don't think I'll ever forget. Where do I start? I seen the Big Barn Race last year. That got me hooked. I was like, I got to go this year. I have to go. So, come hell or high water, I was going. I raced pretty much my first time in like 20 years at Outlaw RC in the winter with the B6 and a stadium truck. Guys were very friendly with me, like Stephen Roy, Terry Yo, Troy Ralph, Dan Schellenberg, Al Jurisic. Tons of guys were helpful anytime if I had a question to ask. So obviously this was a carpet car. It's a B6, had the gull wing arms. It was set for carpet. Slowly tried to convert it over for dirt, but still had the gear diff. So a huge thanks to Al Jurisic, Troy Ralph, Dan Schellenberg and that for giving me, and Go Hobbies for giving me pointers on how to make it better. I actually had one of the guys, the team associated guys from California, give me some advice, which really helped on just setup of the back end. But it was not a contender. Lay down gear diff, at least my driving style, on a 9.5 motor. Keeping the back end down was hard. So it was a learning thing. I took a lot of notes. I think there's like 3 pages of notes I took over the weekend of this thing. The car did exactly what it was supposed to do, but it could only do so much with this setup. So I took it as a learning thing and had fun with it still, but you know, it is what it is. It didn't ruin my race weekend. I don't think anything could have ruined my race weekend. It was a phenomenal race. Showed up at the barn on Thursday night. Brian and them were just finishing off the track. Track was amazing. Even through the Sunday evening after everything, the track did not look that bad. It didn't really break apart. There was a few little ruts, but I'm talking, you know, half an inch type of rut. It's Brian Serino's builds what I consider a very durable, very cool track. He took in mind the 1/8 scale, took in mind the 1/10 scale, made it work for both. There was a really fun triple in it that was probably the biggest jump I've ever done myself. Scared the crap out of me, but it was cool. Yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, I got there Thursday, you know, helped them set up a few banners and that. Took a few snapshots, PM'd Ty Tessman saying, you know, I hope you don't mind, but I'm coming to shake your hand, dude, and your dad's hand. Actually got a response. It was cash. He was like, yeah, no problem. Ty Tessman and Gord Tessman were at the Big Barn Race. Ty Tessman and Gord Tessman. Some of you may not think this was a huge deal. For me, it was like, going to the race was cool enough. Having them there, wow. I was like, you know, a fat kid going, cake time. It was awesome. I got to talk to Gord and shake Gord's hand. I'm a big fan of Gord. I mean, what he does and how he helps his son. Damn, you know, like, yeah, I have mad respect for the guy. And of course his son Ty, I have huge respect for. I got to talk to them both. they helped out a lot of people on the track. I've seen them helping out people with their nitro engines and setups. It was amazing them. They were there. Saturday or Friday was practice from noon till 10, which I thought was a long practice, but I needed every bit of it. I got this guy dialed in as much as possible, and then the 1/8 scale e-buggy, I just it was my first time driving it, so I was just kind of learning the power it had. Took a lot of notes. I think I have probably about 7 pages of notes for both setups of what worked and what didn't work. You know, I actually found the best time during racing, I just put headphones on, some music, and raced. That was the best way, because I get nervous. You know, this new racing stuff, I raced back when it was like nickel metal hydrate batteries, brushed motors. You know, the 10.1 Dirtinator was the mod motor to have. You know, so a lot's changed now. Crawled for many years, did some scale rock crawling in that. It was very enjoyable in that. But trying back at racing, it's definitely a learning curve. There's a lot more adjustments now than we had way back then. I mean, back then you know you changed some shock fluids. Mostly you worked on your motor, you shimmed it, you aligned the head. You know, did some brush work. Springs on the brushes were huge back then. Cutting the comm. You know, back then we'd make our own shock towers and things like that, and try to, like, I remember having an RC10 back then, and taking the RC10T parts and putting it onto that tub pan chassis and narrowing down the chassis to make it all legal. You know, roll centers and that, we didn't really focus a huge on. Like, we did, but it wasn't near as prominent now. You didn't have hubs you could adjust and things like that. So the adjustments now, I mean, I'm a complete noob. I ask the most new questions to people, which is huge props to Troy Ralph, Brian Serenios, what's the Miker, the associated guy from the States. I have him on video. I did a little quick interview with him. Huge help from him. Dan Schellenberg, Stefan Roy, Ty Tessman even helped me with it. There's tons of guys that helped me with setups. So huge props to them for actually listening. Terry O, I bugged him all weekend on the most newbie of newbie questions. Just helped me out and didn't flinch on answering the questions. Like, these guys will help you out. It's really cool. Terry O is an associated driver, drives for GoGo Hobbies. Huge helpful guy. I mean, and he knows his stuff. He is no slouch to racing. You don't want to put a bet for lunch against racing against Terry, because you're going down, man. So huge help from them. Again, back to the track here. So Friday was practicing. Like, there's tons of pages of notes. Afterwards, I'm just flipping through the notes, reading all the material, just going, okay, focusing on it, trying to remember the driving of how the vehicles felt. And Saturday was qualifying. Qualifying, I took a little more tame than I thought I should. I mean, the B6 was just, it did what it did, and it could only do so much with the setup equipment that I had and my driving ability, so it was more just take notes for future lessons. The e-buggy, this guy, was my first time driving it. I love e-buggy, and I imagine I'd love e-truggy just as much too. They were a blast at my first time driving it and at the big barn race. Wow. So Saturday qualifying, I took it a little more tame. I should have been more aggressive, because I ended up in the B main and I had to bump into the A main. Luckily, I did. But it was fun. So qualifying was intense. I was watching other racers, and it didn't clue into me till probably third qualifier that these guys are pushing it in the qualifying, and I'm like, oh, light bulb in the head. Oh, okay, they want that placement. Okay, so that was a mess up on my part. Luckily, I did make it to the A main on Sundays when I was able to bump from the B. But yeah, it was a tough day, but a fun day. The qualifying went good. The e-buggy handled great. Huge props to Troy Ralph. If you ever need anybody to help you work on a vehicle, I bought the vehicle used off of Chris Mueller. Troy took it, rebuilt it, put it back together, gave me a good deal on electronics, and then I took it out. And I just went with his setup. Didn't break. Didn't even phase. Like, it was just like, yeah, I'm cool, dude. So huge props to Troy. Thank you, Troy, for all your work. Huge Brian Serenials. I PM'd him lots about how to get some little things. These guys help out a lot. So qualifying went good. I landed in the B main. Yeah, but it was my first time driving. So I was like, okay, no, we're going to play the bump game. Sunday racing. I was planned on being a little more aggressive. Turned up the motor. I had it at 80. I was feeling a little sheepish. Turned it right back up to 95. Ended up keeping it at 97% on the EPA for the motor. It's a 2250 motor in here, which definitely I can make the triple jump, no issue. And huge props to Al Jurisic from Canada Hobbies, who gave me some pointers on the electronics. He's the one who basically said, you gotta do that triple, no problem, if you want the A-mains. Thank you for that that note, because I probably would have stayed too conservative and been done at 10 a.m., which would have sucked. Also, I want to give a huge props to GoGo Hobbies. They have helped me not only in my crawling, but hugely in the racing. With setups and just ideas and what to buy, what not to buy, what to focus on, you know. Mark Ilton, I got to give him huge props, because he made sure that these things, the motors were pumping out as much power as possible. Scary power. I mean, if you ever need a motor tuned in that, you go see Mark. You catch him at the Outlaw races, the KMRC races, the WORS race series. You can catch him at GoGo Hobbies. He can tune things for you. It was fun. What else can be said? I got to actually talk to Ty a few times and Gord a few times. Ty gave me some hints on driving for the e-buggy, since it was my very first e-buggy run. Thank you, Ty. I just asked him random questions like, how do you pick your lines and that, and nothing too specific, but just his main focus was almost the same, I guess, probably everybody else's. He says, if you slow down and make sure you're in that groove, which, you know, funny enough, in the winter, Al Jurisic said the same thing to me for this. If you have to slow down to stay in the groove, slow down to stay in the groove. You know, for Ty, that might not have been a huge thing of advice, but hearing it from Al in the winter, I kind of over the time forgot about it. Hearing it from Ty during the WORS brought it right back into perspective for me, which was awesome. It was awesome meeting Ty and Gord. Very down to earth guys, very easy to talk to, very friendly. Yeah, it was. I know I'm bouncing around here, but guys, this is the big barn. The big barn race not only was an eye opener for me, first real time doing dirt, especially with an e-buggy. which I love. He's awesome, awesome. And but it was fun. I recommend it. It made me, who was somewhat on the fence of going to the rest of the wars, to want to go to the rest of the wars series. Western Off-Road Racing Series, by the way. Just because it's intimidating for someone who's fairly new, because I hate asking all the new questions, but I have to ask all the new questions. For me, I have to get as much info in as I can. But the guys all helped me. Is probably as silly as the question was. The guys would help me. And they didn't get annoyed at it, or if they did, they didn't show it. So thank you to everybody who I tried to pick their brain and ask probably the questions that they thought were very simplistic. But that's how you learn from me. I mean, it feels weird asking the new questions, coming from somebody who's a crawler, who had many titles under his belt, to asking the new questions and learning all over again. But that's part of the reason why I did the racing, is to bring a new challenge to me and try to figure something out. And these vehicles are a lot different than the old style. The old style, I mean, last time I raced was a Team Losi JRX2. Brushless and lipos did not exist back then, let alone an e-buggy. I was always scared of the e-buggies. These guys helped me out, made me a little more friendlier with them. Go to the if you miss the barn race, it sucks. Understand, things happen. You're gonna want to go to it next year. I'm already waiting up. I'll prepay to go to the damn thing next year. Brian Sereno's made that awesome track. And another guy that's, you know, fantastic driver. I like his driving style. You know, I watch Brian Sereno's, and I watch Dan Schellenberg a lot, and Terry Yo. Terry and Brian tend to drive conservative, but consistent. They're not guys that need to be marshaled much. They may not be the absolute fastest on the track, but they're all those three guys are very close to like a Ty Tessman in that driving, where they're consistently putting it where they want. Dan Schellenberg, he's fast. He's where I got the idea from is if I can't pass you, I'm just going to stay right behind you until you make a mistake. I got that idea from Dan, just from watching him, not asking him, just watching him. You know, so I watch a lot of these guys and look up to them because of what they do. They do something I can't. It was no different than when I was in crawling. I followed around Mike Mitchell and Randy Mitchell, bugged them every chance I get, watched their lines, and learned. And that's exactly what I'm doing in racing, and having a blast doing it. I feel like the newbie. I kind of am the newbie, but it's still fun. You know, I don't like being the newbie, but I like the learning curve, because there's a lot to learn that I have no idea of, or I've forgotten. Plain and simple. So again, the racing at the WORS, not to get off topic here, was great. A lot of great drivers. I did a pit walk, which felt kind of weird. I did it, and it's on video, you'll see it after this here. I didn't know 3/4 of the guys, and I didn't want to just stay in the group that I knew. I wanted to see everybody and just see what everybody's like. Everybody was very friendly, you know, from guys from the island, from guys in California. Like, everybody was very friendly. You can't go wrong there. So I did a pit walk. I did a little video of the Nitro A-Main Truggy, which was intense. It's hard to take a video of that stuff, guys, so it's not the best. because they go so damn fast that you move the camera trying to follow it and you just see a blur. So I did the best I can. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you don't. What can I say? It was a blast. It was a huge blast. I know I said thank you to like Brian and all those guys many a times, but thank you, because if it wasn't for you guys actually responding to the most simplest of simple questions, like Terry O, I bugged him all weekend and I asked him stupidly silly stuff, but it's information that I needed to know to progress in what I know. Or I'd go to Al Jurisic from Canada Hobbies and ask him stuff, and they helped me. If it wasn't for these guys helping me, racing wouldn't be a fun thing. I'm learning, but you can't learn unless you ask the dumb questions in my mind. And it's the guys in the racing community that have helped me that has made me want to race more. You know, I remember in the winter, Stephen Roy took this buggy right here when it was all set up for carpet, did a few laps, and was pretty much matching his pace for his own buggy. So, you know, he's like, the setup's fine, just learn to drive, which was the simplest of simple answers and questions, but it made me go, okay, you know what, don't worry about the tuning of stupid things, just learn to drive better. So that's what I focused on. Just want to say thanks to everybody who's helped me in this. I mean, Go-Go Hobbies has been a huge help. They've always helped me for years in the RC areas, whether it's crawling or racing or whatever. A huge help. So Go-Go Hobbies, definitely a huge help. Al Jurisic from Canada Hobbies, such a cool guy. Always going to help you. And just all around great guy. High Performance Distributors, I mean, the information, I go to their website a lot just to see what's in stock, and then I order it from my local hobby shop or Canada Hobbies, which you can get online. The hobby shop I like to go to just because it's close to me, and I like Cam and them. I've known Cam. It's Go-Go Hobbies. I've known Cam for years, and I consider him a friend. And then obviously Canada Hobbies, which you can get online, which is Al Jurisic. Yeah, where was I going now? What you made me lose focus? Bad. No, just a huge thanks to everybody, and a chance to go, yeah, HPD, Dan Schellenberg. When it comes to asking for a whole setup thing, Dan's a guy I like to go to for a lot of things, because he knows, he's a smart guy. And I like his driving style. I mean, I pick whose driving style I like to follow, and I try and follow that. Yeah, on to the video. You'll see a walk around. It's not anything professional. I'm not a professional photographer. I caught some of the racing. Wanted to catch more, but I was too intense trying to do my racing with the e-buggy, which I love. I'm very much looking forward to Cam RC with this. This guy, I'm probably going to just keep it for indoor. I mean, I'll look at doing a ball diff and the 4-gear gearbox, but we'll see. We'll see how big of the classes are for this guy. And to be honest, I'd be competing against Terry O, and in my opinion, you give him an open field and 2-wheel drive buggy, he's kind of like Ty. If you let him out front, you're not catching him. I've seen him race enough. E-buggy Sportsman, definitely gonna give it a try. I know Cam RC doesn't have Sportsman class, so I'll be with the big boys. So I just hope I get out of their way when I can. But just gonna learn and keep on going. And oh, Nick from Toy Car Creative Designs. met him for the first time. Heard a lot about him, met him. Awesome guy. Totally friendly. You know, I mean, he was giving out stickers for A-Mains. He's a sponsor for the Big Barn Race. He's super nice guy. I mean, I hear about these guys, but never meet them till now. And I got to meet Ty. So, that's enough marveling. I hope you like the rest of the video. Have a good night, guys.